In the vibrant city of Lagos, Nigeria, Samantha, a wealthy 50-year-old woman, lived a life of luxury and power. She owned a successful company and was known for her elegance and strong will. One day, a young man named Andrew came for a job interview at her office. Andrew, a 25-year-old man from a small town, impressed Samantha with his determination and sincerity. So she gave him the job. As Andrew worked tirelessly, Samantha found herself growing fond of him, admiring his youth and energy. Eventually, Samantha confessed her feelings to Andrew, proposing that they explore a deeper relationship. Andrew was hesitant, worried about what people would say, but he respected Samantha and agreed to take things one step at a time. Their bond grew stronger, despite the rumors and gossip that began to spread among the office staff. However, just as their relationship seemed to be blossoming, Samantha started feeling unwell. After a visit to the doctor, they received shocking news: Samantha was pregnant. The revelation left both of them stunned, realizing that their lives were about to change in unimaginable ways. As Samantha and Andrew left the doctor's office, the reality of the situation began to sink in. The bustling streets of Lagos seemed quieter as they walked hand in hand, each lost in their thoughts. Samantha's mind raced with 1,000 questions. How could this happen at her age? What would people say? And most importantly, what would this mean for her relationship with Andrew? Andrew, on the other hand, was overwhelmed with a mix of emotions. He was shocked, yes, but also felt a strange sense of pride. Despite the unexpected turn of events, he knew that he cared deeply for Samantha and that he would stand by her no matter what. That evening, they sat together in Samantha's luxurious living room. The air was thick with unspoken words, and the soft glow of the lamps cast long shadows on the walls. Samantha finally broke the silence. "Andrew, I don't know how to explain this," she began, her voice trembling slightly. "This was the last thing I expected. I've lived my life, built my career, and now, at this age, I'm going to be a mother again." Andrew squeezed her hand gently. "I know it's a lot to take in, Samantha, but you're not alone in this. We'll figure it out together." Samantha looked at him, her eyes filled with uncertainty. "But what about you, Andrew? You're still so young. You should be out there, living your life, not tied down with responsibilities like this." Andrew shook his head, his expression serious. "Samantha, I made my choice when I agreed to be with you. I'm not going anywhere. This may not be what we planned, but I believe things happen for a reason. We'll face whatever comes together." Samantha felt a surge of emotion at his words. She had always been strong, always in control, but now, she felt vulnerable. Yet, in Andrew's presence, she also felt a sense of security she hadn't experienced in a long time. Over the next few days, they began to plan for the future. Samantha knew that the news of her pregnancy would eventually get out, and she wanted to be prepared for the inevitable scrutiny. They discussed how they would handle the business, their personal lives, and most importantly, how they would raise the child. But even as they planned, doubts lingered in Samantha's mind. She couldn't shake the fear of how society would judge them. She worried about the impact this would have on Andrew's life and career. And deep down, she feared that the stress of it all might be too much for their relationship to withstand. One afternoon, Samantha received a call from her best friend, Funk, Funk was one of the few people Samantha trusted completely. They had known each other since childhood and had supported each other through thick and thin. "Samantha, I've been hearing some things," Funk said cautiously. "Is it true? Are you really pregnant?" Samantha hesitated for a moment before answering. "Yes, Funk, it's true." There was a long pause on the other end of the line before Funk finally spoke. "Samantha, I don't know what to say. This is unexpected. How are you feeling?" "Honestly, Funk, I'm scared," Samantha admitted. "I didn't think this was possible at my age. And now, I don't know what to do." Funk's voice softened. "You're one of the strongest women I know, Samantha. You've faced challenges before, and you've come out stronger every time. This is just another challenge, and I know you'll handle it with the same grace and strength as you always have." "But what about Enru?" Samantha asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "What if this is too much for him? What if he regrets being with me?" "Samantha, if Enru is the man you believe him to be, he won't abandon you now," Funk reassured her. "You need to trust him and trust yourself. You've come this far together, and I believe you'll get through this too." Samantha felt a sense of relief wash over her. Funk's words were exactly what she needed to hear. She thanked her friend and ended the call, feeling more determined than ever to face the future with courage. That evening, Samantha and Enru sat together on the balcony of her home, overlooking the glittering lights of Lagos. The city was alive with the sounds of traffic, music, and laughter. Samantha leaned into Enru's embrace, feeling the warmth of his presence. "Enru," she began, "I spoke to Funk today. She reminded me of something important. No matter what happens, we have to trust each other and ourselves. We've already faced so much together, and I believe we can get through this too." Enru nodded, his arms wrapped around her protectively. "We will, Samantha. We'll take it one day at a time, just like we've always done." As they sat there, watching the city below, they both knew that the road ahead would not be easy. But they also knew that as long as they had each other, they could face whatever challenges life threw their way. The days following their conversation on the balcony were filled with preparations and decisions. Samantha and Enru had long discussions about how they would manage their new reality. They agreed that discretion was necessary, at least for now, until they were ready to face the world with their news. Samantha continued to manage her company with the same precision and authority that had earned her respect in the business world. However, she noticed the subtle changes in her body, and as the weeks passed, it became harder to conceal her pregnancy. She knew that soon, she would have to address the situation openly. One morning, as Samantha was getting ready for work, she noticed Enru watching her from the doorway. He had a thoughtful expression on his face, one she had come to recognize as a sign that something was on his mind. "What is it, Enru?" Samantha asked, turning to face him. He hesitated for a moment before speaking. "Samantha, I've been thinking, maybe it's time we started telling people, at least those close to us. I don't want you to have to go through this alone, hiding from the world." Samantha sighed, knowing he was right. "I've been thinking the same thing, but I'm not sure how to do it. I've always been in control of my life, Enru, but this is different." Enru walked over to her and took her hands in his. "We'll do it together, Samantha. We'll tell the people who matter to us first, and then we'll figure out the rest. But I don't want you to feel like you have to hide. You've done nothing wrong." Samantha smiled at his words. feeling a renewed sense of confidence. You're right. We'll start with Funk. She's been by my side through everything. I know she'll understand. Later that day, Samantha invited Funk to her home for dinner. She had prepared a beautiful meal. But as they sat down to eat, Samantha found herself unusually nervous. Funk noticed immediately and set down her fork. Samantha, what's going on? You're never this quiet, Funk said with a concerned look. Samantha took a deep breath and reached across the table to hold Funk's hand. There's something I need to tell you, Funk. Something that's going to change everything. Funk's eyes widened slightly, but she nodded for Samantha to continue. I'm pregnant, Funk, Samantha said, her voice steady but soft. And it's Enru's child. Funk blinked in surprise, her mouth opening slightly as she processed the news. After a moment, she let out a breath and squeezed Samantha's hand. I knew something was different about you lately, but I didn't expect this. Samantha, are you okay? How are you feeling about all this? Samantha felt a wave of relief at Funk's calm response. I'm still trying to make sense of it all. It's not something I ever thought would happen at this stage of my life. But Andrew has been amazing. He's been supportive and understanding. And I couldn't ask for more. Funk smiled warmly. I'm glad to hear that. And you're right, this is a big change. But I'm here for you, Samantha. Whatever you need. We'll get through this together. With Funk's support, Samantha felt more confident about facing the world. The next step was informing her family, a task she knew would be far more challenging. Her siblings, particularly her younger brother Edwale, had always looked up to her as the pillar of the family. How would they react to this news? The following weekend, Samantha invited her family over for a gathering. As they sat around her spacious living room, laughing and sharing stories, Samantha knew it was time. Everyone, I have something important to share with you, Samantha began, her voice calm but firm. The room fell silent as all eyes turned to her. I'm expecting a child, she continued. And Andrew is the father. Edwale, who had been sipping his drink, nearly choked in surprise. He quickly set down his glass and stared at Samantha in disbelief. What? Samantha, are you serious? Samantha nodded, bracing herself for their reactions. But how? I mean, at your age. Edwale's voice trailed off, clearly struggling to find the right words. Edwale, I understand this is a shock, Samantha replied, trying to keep her tone gentle. It was a surprise to me as well. But it's happening. And Andrew and I are committed to raising this child together. The room was thick with tension as her family processed the news. After a long pause, her older sister, Yuande, finally spoke up. Samantha, if this is what you want, then we'll support you, Yuande said, her voice kind but concerned. But you have to know that this won't be easy. People will talk, and there will be challenges. I'm aware of that, Yuande, Samantha responded, her voice resolute. But I've faced challenges before, and I'm prepared to face them again. What matters now is that I have Andrew by my side, and I know we can handle whatever comes our way. Samantha's family exchanged glances, and one by one, they nodded in agreement. While the shock hadn't fully worn off, they respected Samantha's strength and determination. They knew she wasn't one to back down from a challenge. As the evening progressed, the atmosphere gradually lightened, and the family resumed their conversations. Albeit with the new reality in mind, Samantha felt a sense of relief, knowing that her family, though surprised, was still on her side. Later that night, after everyone had left, Samantha and Enru sat together, reflecting on the day's events. "Well, that went better than I expected," Samantha said with a small smile. Enru nodded, his arm around her shoulders. "Your family cares about you, Samantha. They may be surprised, but they'll come around. What's important is that we're in this together." Samantha leaned into him, feeling a sense of peace she hadn't felt in a long time. "Thank you, Enru, for everything." "We've got this, Samantha," Enru replied softly, "one step at a time." As they sat there, watching the city lights twinkle in the distance, they knew that the road ahead would be filled with challenges, but they also knew that together, they could face anything that came their way.